I'm Chef Lynn. Welcome to the Flavor Secrets Kitchen. Today we're going to have some fun with vegetables. I think vegetables are the most boring part of the meal, so I'm going to show you how to rearrange them and spice them and make them taste a lot better. And in the process, I'm going to show you how to use all of these tools. This is Gadget Day in the Flavor Secrets Kitchen. When people come in here, the first thing they say is, "What's that?" And the second thing they say is, "What's that?" And the third thing they say is that a torture tool?" So today I'm going to show you how to use quite a few things to make your food look much more professional and fun to eat. After all, we do eat with our eyes first. So I'm going to start here with a vegetable that is a great one for introducing your kids or non-veg eaters to squash. This is called a spaghetti squash, and the great thing about it is that it's super easy to cook. All you have to do is take a big knife like this and slash it twice so it won't explode in your oven. Then throw it in the oven at 400 degrees for about an hour. And you know if it's done if you can easily get a fork in. Then to serve it, you'll just cut through the skin. It's a little bit hot here still. Open. So when you've opened up your squash, the first thing you want to do is just scoop out the seeds like this and put them over to the side. And then when you start scooping out the squash itself, it looks just like spaghetti, and so it's really fun to eat. Here you can see, it looks just like spaghetti. We don't want to have any seeds in there. It's still nice and hot from the oven. And then when you put it on your plate, it's just a really pretty yellow. Get those seeds out of there. Get out of there. Okay, and then I'll put some more on here. Now the thing about spaghetti squash, the reason it's a good way to introduce this vegetable to children is that it's very bland. So if you give it to adults, you may want to add on some other things, like you could put some salad dressing on it. You could also this is just sauteed onion with peppers, and I put a little salt and pepper on it. And I chose this because it was a contrasting color. So you've got the light yellow of the squash, and then you've got the nice red of the pepper. So there you go. That's a beautiful side that I think just about anybody would eat. Now noodles are a wonderful way to introduce vegetables. So that's why I started with this, and now I'm going to show you how to make noodles out of other vegetables. So next we're going to make noodles out of beets, and we're going to make them out of yellow beets. This is what they look like when you buy them, except they have these leaves here on the end, okay? And they usually come bound together in threes. I don't know why they chose three, but for some reason beets are sold in threes. And we're going to use this little machine. I call it a spiraler because I don't know what the name of it is. I bought it in Germany years and years ago. But now you can get them here online, and they only cost like about $20. It's just a simple plastic machine, and it makes 3 different sizes of noodles. All you do is you change this plate here with one of the ones that's stored in the bottom, and so you can have thin ones, medium ones, and large ones for different kinds of vegetables. This is also awesome for cucumber. Okay, so all you have to do is put this little plate in and then hook the beet in there, push it hard against, and then push as you're turning, and the noodles come right out. Now realize that all of this is just one beet. You could serve that to 4 people and have that be enough vegetable for your whole dinner, and it's really a lot of fun. All you have to do to cook it is to steam it, which I've done over here, and here's what they look like when they come out of the steamer. Just like a pile of noodles. Now again, you can do the same thing and put some other vegetables on top, but in this case, I would just put some salt and pepper, and if you like it, maybe just a little bit of vinegar. A real light vinegar, like a champagne vinegar or a rice wine vinegar is really good. Now don't forget to eat the leaves, and this also has suction cups on the bottom of it, so it stays really firm. I really like using it because it's so easy. And these are the leaves, which I've washed very carefully because they can get kind of dirty. And all we're going to do is chop these up a little bit. Try not to chop your fingers, just to break them down a little bit. And then I've got just a little bit of oil, or you can use chicken broth or whatever you want to, and I'll heat these just for a few minutes until they wilt. Okay, let me get this out of the way here. And you can actually, I think a really nice dish, we'll take this out in a minute, a really nice dish would be to put the greens on top of the noodles. This has been sauteing only about 3 minutes. You just want to melt it down sort of, or wilt it down I should say, just like spinach. And then put it on top of the yellow beets, and it's really, really good for you. One of the best things you can eat. And what a great color combination. You can either put a tiny little bit of vinegar on there, or I like to put a little bit of this lemon herb fat-free dressing, just a little bit on the top. And that is a delicious side. Now I'm going to show you 3 indispensable tools that are really inexpensive also. Every chef has a little bottle like this. You can find them in cake decorating stores, you can find them at Joann's and craft stores. And what it's for is putting those pretty little dots on your plate, or if you see a sauce going all the way around your plate in a perfect circle, this is the tool they do that with. You can also go back and forth like this and make your dessert look really pretty. This is a Zingerman's Magic Brownie. And to me it looked just a little bit dry, so I think it looks a lot better with a little bit of sauce. And that's some butterscotch schnapps sauce, which also will taste really great with it. Okay, the next thing, I like to put on asparagus. This is an egg yolk, okay? It's been boiled and the white peeled away. So it's just a simple egg yolk. And what I'm going to do is just push it through this sieve. And see what happens to it? It becomes really feathery and pretty. The only problem with this is once you put it down, you can't move it. But I like to put it on asparagus because egg tastes great with asparagus, and the yellow and green, again, are really beautiful contrasting colors. You can take a knife or your finger or whatever and then just knock that off right onto the asparagus and just keep pushing it through until you've got all you want. I think that is just a beautiful garnish that also adds some nice nutrition. So I'll dump it all over here for you. And the next one is called a scoring tool. Let me clean this up just a second. Okay, a scoring tool. And a scoring tool scores. Here I've got some little cucumbers, and I've chosen the little one because I wanted to make a salad that would look like flowers. And I can do that by using this simple tool. First, you just put it at the end and bring it straight down, okay? Then turn it over and set it right on that groove that I just made, and that holds it in place. And then I also know I'm exactly on the opposite side. Then I can hold these two and come down through the middle on this side, and then hold these two and come down on the middle of this side. Then all I have to do is chop this, and I've lost my knife here. I think I left it over here. Just take the end off and then chop it into little flowers. And then I use those little flowers to make this salad. And this is a real easy salad to make. It's probably one your grandma has been making for years. You just salt the cucumber and let it sit in a colander for about 15 minutes. Then rinse all that salt off, maybe 3 tablespoons of salt on 10 of these little cucumbers, okay? You can also use big cucumbers for this. For this recipe, you'd probably use 2 large ones, but I used 10 of these small ones. Then I added a small onion, chopped really finely so that you can't see it, a tablespoon of sugar, 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar, and a tablespoon of dill. And that's the recipe, and then just let it sit and marinate, if you can, overnight or at least for a few hours. Another thing that would be really pretty to add to this is a little bit of chopped red pepper. Okay, on to the next tools. Next up are cutting tools, and there's a cutting tool for almost every vegetable on earth. I'm going to show you just a few that are kind of fun. This one is for cutting mushrooms. They all usually have some kind of a lock on them so you can keep them economically, or not economically, but you can keep them in your drawers and they don't take up so much space, okay? So then you just open it up. Now with mushrooms, you know, you don't wash them, you just brush them. Brush the dirt off, like this. I've got this fancy little mushroom brush I bought in Germany. I bought a lot of my things in Germany. We want to take the stem off, in this case, and just put it in there and chop our mushroom. And you've got perfect little mushrooms that you can saute. The more even your cuts are, the more professional your dish will look. So imagine those sauteed in a little bit of butter with some salt and pepper. They're going to be just beautiful if you take the time to cut them evenly using a cutter. Okay, next we've got several different things for eggs. These are hard-boiled eggs. This one, again, I bought it like 30 years ago. I've been a gadget freak for a long time. So in this one, there's the lock, you unlock it, and you can cut your egg beautifully into 4 pieces. I love this one. It's nice, again, for decorating asparagus because of the difference in color and because asparagus tastes so good with eggs. You can also do exactly the same thing with this little thing. This can chop things into 2 different ways. Here we can put this the same way, top up, and come out with basically the same thing. That one actually cuts it a little bit cleaner. And those are really nice for decorating the tops of salads and things like that too. Okay, this one is for cutting mozzarella. And that's one of the hardest things to cut evenly. So you want to put even pressure down on the ball and try and bring this all the way to the bottom. So if you want to make a caprese salad or something, you've got these really gorgeous mozzarella pieces that you can spread around the plate and decorate your plate. And this last one is for an apple. It perfectly cores the apple and then cuts it into pieces. But it's really hard to push down. There we go. There we go. It's worth it because you get these perfect pieces. Great, quick, easy way to give a child a little piece of apple. The core is all taken out, and again, you've got these nice professional looking pieces. And then just a couple other things I wanted to show you. This is to cut out little circles of things. It's great to have circle cutters, a whole box of circle cutters. These are all different sizes. You can find these at Williams-Sonoma, and they used to make these in metal, and now they make them in this beautiful plastic that's dishwasher proof. And it's wonderful because the metal ones used to rust. So these are just invaluable, and you have so many different sizes. You can use them for all sorts of things. And this last thing, this is fun. You can find lots of different scoopers like this, and this one is a heart. So it's fun to use on Valentine's Day for ice cream. All of these things would taste great with just a nice sauteed chicken breast, a real easy meal. Any of these things, or 3 more little tools to show you, and these are my favorites. This is a zester. You can put your lemon down like that and make little curls, which are also a nice garnish for fish or even chicken, like that. Just put it on top. Or lots of recipes call for zesting. You can also use this one this way and use it as a scoring tool, just like the other scoring tool. So if you want 2 for 1, get this one. This is a really cool one. Again, I bought a long time ago in Germany, but now you can find them here. This is a Daikon radish. It's kind of a mild white radish, really interesting to eat. And this is an interesting way to serve it. Actually, I'm going to cut it so that I've got a solid piece to work with. I want a flat spot on the bottom so that it stays solid where I put it. And then I'm going to use this little tool and work it in. You have to be careful because this is pretty sharp. So when you start working it in, watch out that you don't cut yourself. And I'm just going to work that little plastic spiral right down into the radish. And then after it's well in there, I can start turning and it'll take itself down. You can do this with smaller red radishes too, but it's a little bit harder because you can see I've got to watch out to make sure I don't go too far down and cut myself. Now this is a really pretty garnish for any plate. You can make it size, you can make them huge and long, and what you get is a beautiful spiral. So that's kind of fun to play with. We can take this one off and you could make a circle out of it and use it for a plate decoration too. Really cool. And this last one for this segment is a French bean stripper. Okay, so how to use this is really easy too, but again, you've got a sharp blade, so you've got to be careful. This blade just takes off the ends, and then you just push this through the side, and your French bean comes right out. I'll show you again. Just take the blade. I'm hardly touching that, it's so sharp, and that takes the ends off, and then I'll push this through, and there's my French bean. Now to prepare those, all I did was saute them a little bit in, what did I use here? I'm trying to remember. Just a little bit of oil, I think, and then I put some salt and pepper on them. So we can add these here to our chicken plate also. We'll move that over, and there's a nice side. That's a little more interesting than a regular green bean. just a couple more little things, and then I'm going to show you the mother of all tools, the mandolin. It's much easier to use than you think. First is a tomato knife. This is made specifically for tomatoes, and it's got a serrated edge and then straight, serrated, straight, all the way along. And it cuts through a tomato like a charm. So if you want to make that caprese salad, you can get some pretty nice cuts just using this tomato knife. All right, this one is for making Julienne strips, and this is awesome. You just take your vegetable and pull against it, and you've got all these little Julienne strips, perfectly made. I just love that tool. And that's an inexpensive one also that you can find at any high-end kitchen store. That's just beautiful. You can also make those Julienne strips using the mandolin. Now, I bought my first mandolin about 30 years ago in Paris before home cooks could get a lot of things. And it cost $150 and it was really hard to use. I wrecked the cupboard every single time I used it. Now they're wonderful. This one was about $70. If you go to a restaurant supply store that accepts the public, you can find these wonderful new mandolins. And they're wonderful because they don't slip. They've got this rubberized holder here and here both. And you've got a big protection item here that's going to hold it so that you don't cut yourself. I've seen some really bad injuries using a mandolin. Again, it's a very sharp instrument. And what you can do with this is you can make waffle potatoes. Cut them in one direction and then you cut them in the other direction and they look like waffles. And you can also make all different kinds, all different sizes of Julienne, and you can also make straight cuts on it. And you control it. You control this bottom one with this down here, but I want this lever to be all the way up because I'm not using the bottom right now, so it's flush. And then I control this one using this knob. And I've got three different sizes where you can cut straight, or three different sizes where you can cut Julienne. So I'm going to show you how to do the Julienne. First, make your piece of vegetable the length that you want your Julienne, and then just stick it right on there. Use the safety mechanism always. This pops up, so you want to stick this right in the vegetable, and see how it pops up? Now I'm going to push down on it as I slide, and I can hold the sides here, and you can hang on here. This is another new. A lot of different colors using carrot, zucchini, leek, all kinds of different things. Then you can make a really nice mix. See how great that is and how easy it is? This is in every single restaurant, believe me, and if you can afford one, I would highly recommend you get one. It'll make your food look really professional. Now, what I did with that is I sauteed the vegetables together. I just sauteed in a tiny little bit of oil, some of the summer squash, some of the zucchini, and then I added a little bit of leek for taste, and then I put some salt and pepper in there. And this is actually a really great filling for vegetarian tacos. Or you can put it under a piece of chicken or under a piece of smoked fish, whatever. And then, so to make tacos, I'm going to use this wonderful taco tender holder that I love, so I can give each person their own. Fill it with the vegetable mix. If I can hang on to it here, I should add a spoon, I think. Just stuff it with the vegetable mix, and then put just a tiny little bit of Greek yogurt on the top. Where did I put that? Down here. And you've got a very tasty lunch, again, that anyone would enjoy. So there are a lot of ideas for making your meal professional and for making it really tasty and eye-appealing. I hope you'll try it at home. I'm Chef Lynn. Enjoy.